We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hi.
the Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Nia Blizzard. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. How are you, love?
I'm great, thank you. I'm so glad to have you on today.
I'm very excited. Baby's first live interview, and I'm so excited.
I feel honored that it is with me. We will take care of you, all the hearts. It is fabulous. Is it as hot where you are as it is where I am here in Washington State?
Well, when I checked the weather before, like not too long ago, it was 97. So, love that. Love that for me.
It is just so hot, and we're
ridiculous
loving it. Loving the heat. If it seems like there's a little, like I have 2 ice cubes in my sparkling water today, and they will be melted so quickly.
Nice. I have.
Yes.
That's almost gone. So that's what we're drinking.
Smart though. Gotta get those electrolytes.
For sure. For sure.
And I see Eva says, hello. If y'all are watching in real time, please comment here. We love to see it. And if you're seeing this later on, welcome to the future. So fun.
We time jumped for you.
Time jump. Yes. Ooh, and I even see Lauren has retweeted and I'm guessing is joining right now. #1 fan here. What?
Love you, Lauren. That's one of my best friends.
Oh, yay. Amazing. And Tracy, I see you too. Cool. So, Nia, I always like to start asking your origin story. What got you into being such a big musical theater fan and your journey to today?
Okay. So, when I was younger, I was bullied all through elementary and middle school. Because I liked theater, because I like to sing. I'm not the best singer. I was in choir for 5 years and I still can't sing. What is the reason? Who knows? Anyway, I didn't like getting made fun of, so I stopped on the musical theater hype train for a while. I kept up with it, but not nearly as closely as I do now. But then Hamilton happened, and it was kind of all downhill from there. I listened to that soundtrack for the first time because I had heard so much hype about it. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yes.
That was, I graduated college I entered college in 2015. So that's kind of when I, got on the hype train. Wasn't able to get to New York to be able to see the OBC, but it's all good because that December, I got to see Jordan as Lau Phil. So, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, after that, I kind of just started like weaving my way into like theater and like, some of my favorite artists that I talk about all the time today. And then I ended up moving here. And here we are.
Yes.
That's the short version.
Love to see it. Sorry to hear about the awful kids who bully. I get that. I experienced that. Some people suck, and I'm sorry that happened. And I'm glad.
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. That's what they always say.
Yeah. I know. I feel like a lot of resilient people are able to handle this quarantine better than maybe if everything was kind of easier up until this point. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, I spent the first half of my quarantine like alone in a really small dorm. And then like maybe a month and a half ago, I finally moved into like where I'm at now. So I'm very grateful that my roommate puts up with me. Yes. And I have somebody to talk to that's not my mom now. No offense to my mom, but
yes, no offense, but sometimes a good roommate is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Exactly.
And I love your background. I love all your playbills and posters.
Yeah, my roommate actually gave me the idea of how to hang them. But these are like all the different shows that I've seen in like the past couple of years. Most of them, honestly, are from when I moved here. Like I was just going to see, like literally the day after my mom left from helping me move in, I did a 2-show day. Like I was in Manhattan the entire day, like a crazy person.
What were those 2 shows?
I got to see Moulin Rouge, and then I saw Jesus. What was the other show? Hold on, I forgot.
Consult the board.
Hadestown. Yeah, it was Moulin Rouge and Hadestown.
Yes.
Like, they were both like so freaking good. As soon as Karen Olivo came down, it was over for me. Like it was
game over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Wow. I love it. I love Hadestown.
That soundtrack is just.
Have you found yourself listening to that a lot during quarantine?
Honestly, no. I mostly listen. Like I have like my 5 like musical theater soundtracks that I'll play on a loop. But honestly, since quarantine happened, I haven't been listening to that much musical theater. I've been mostly like watching Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, or whatever. Yeah. But I did update my, like, I have a playlist of all my favorite Broadway songs, and I did update it to reflect all the shows that I've seen. So now it's like 7 hours long, but it's fine.
Yes. We love a 7-hour playlist.
Right. Like if you need a car, if you're on a 7-hour car ride, you don't even need anything else. You just need.
Gotta be prepared. Yeah, exactly. You know, I love how you did that with the playbills though, because it's something that I've been wanting to do. I'm looking at it. I used to hang my comic books up like behind me, and when I lived in Texas for 2 years, I had a really cool setup with like all these different things, and I've been trying to think like how to redecorate this space. So
what it is, it's like a thumbtack that's put into the wall, and then I have like these mini binder clips that clip onto the top of it, and then I just hang one side straight up and then hold the other side down. It doesn't damage the playbills as much as you think it
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the key.
Yeah. Keeping them safe.
Thank you for that knowledge. I appreciate
absolutely
tips from Nia. So we have so many shows and now film/documentaries to kind of debrief together, because both Hamilton fans here. So we got the Hamil film, both Freestyle Love Supreme Academy graduates. So there's FLS doc to recap. There's just like everything that's like on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, as you mentioned, your Jordan Fisher fandom, and having both seen him star in Dear Evan Hansen on his first performance.
Yeah.
And Nick Walker fan club at Ain't Too Proud. I mean, it just like
one of my favorite humans in the entire world, Nick Walker.
Amazing. So tell me what you would like to start with. I'm gonna do like player's choice here. Dealer's choice.
We can talk Hamil film first.
Let's go.
Let's get the ball rolling.
So tell me, let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. So I know that you've seen Hamilton in person. How many times have you seen it? And then how many times have you seen the film?
So the first time I saw it was December 2016, as I said before, with Jordan and the cast. It was a surprise Christmas gift from my mom. So I got to do that. And then the second time I saw it, one of my best friends, Christine, and we met on Twitter, and then we met in real life for my birthday, came here, and we saw it on Broadway again. And then when it came to, this is going to sound insane, but when it came to tour in San Antonio before I moved, literally all in the same week, I saw Hamilton 5 times. I graduated college, and I got my acceptance letter for my school. So like that whole, and I saw Ariana Grande all in the same week.
What?
So, yeah. So it was pretty insane. And then I've seen it twice since I've moved here. So yeah. And then the film, I've watched it 5 times.
Nia, it's impressive.
I know.
5 times. I'm only at 2 times watching Hamil film, and they were both on the 3rd.
Yeah. No, so I watched it when it dropped at 3 a.m. And then a friend came over, socially distanced, of course, and we watched it. And then like a week later, I was like, okay, I have to watch it again. And then my mom wanted to watch it, so we FaceTimed and watched it. Aww. And I was like, you know what? I need to watch this again the 5th time. So I was like, I'm trying to wean myself off of it so I don't get tired of it, you know? Not that you could ever get tired. But I was like, I don't want to watch it too much, because then it'll be like, Ugh, Hamilton again. I don't want to feel that way.
We have a special co-star here. Hi, Slimbo. The cutest little thing. You can see his tail still wagging. As I mentioned, it is very hot today, and
Yeah.
he's probably gonna wander in and out because there's no air conditioning right here. So the door open is a great.
Yeah, I have my window, and then I have like this big fan here that's like specifically on me, so I don't like sweat profusely. It's fine. We're fine.
I'm jealous. I'm happy for you. I'm loving it. Live your best life. We might see Slim. I don't know if you can. He does the best downward dog. He's a yoga expert.
He's the cutest boy.
Hi, bud. Oh, he's just. So as I do this interview, he's just going to sit right here, and he's just going to want all the love, and I'm going to give him all of the love because he deserves it.
We love to see it. Absolutely.
Oh, he's so cute. I love him so much. And I will often get distracted through my love of Slim, and I think that's acceptable.
That's acceptable. Absolutely. We should all get distracted about the love of our dogs. Right.
Do you have any pup love in your life?
No, I've never had a pet in my entire life.
Yeah.
I've played with my friends' dogs. I played with my friends' cats, but I've never had a pet of my own, and it makes me sad. Yeah. I think I had a fish for like 2 weeks
one day
when I was tiny, but I don't specific. I remember the fact that I have a fish, but I don't remember like specifics. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've never
I do. As they say in Hamilton, someday.
Yep. Hopefully.
Yes,
Hopefully.
I believe. And it'll happen. We will talk more Hamilton in a second. I also wanted to give a heads up. I'm going to keep the door open for a little bit, but I hear that there's some outside noise. So Nia, if you or any of the guests watching right now, if it becomes too loud background noise, let me know, and we will close that door and just deal with the extreme heat in summer.
Absolutely fine. Don't worry about it.
So you have seen Hamilton multiple times in person, multiple times on film, and it's so cool to see the difference. Like, I always say that there's not gonna, just having the film version isn't gonna make me want to see it in person any less, because
right.
Two totally different experiences. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, for sure. So I completely agree. I think they're two completely different experiences. Do you get to see some of the little details that you might miss seeing it live? Absolutely. Like, there are some things that I've seen watching it on the thing. I was like, I literally saw it front row because my friend gave me her lottery seats. So I got to see it front row, and I was like right there. I was like, I didn't notice that, which is completely amazing. But it's something that a lot of us as fans, and I'm sure a lot of like performers, are missing, that community of getting together for a specific thing and sitting down and watching a thing together for 2.5 hours. That's something that you can't capture on film. That's not something that you can replicate because it's live theater. Like, it's meant to be taken in live. But I'm super happy that millions of people around the world who don't have the money, time, or resources to get to New York to see it. Absolutely. But I don't think, I agree with you. I don't think me personally, I don't want to see it in person any less. And I feel like a lot of people feel the same way.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So well said. It's one of those things, like when I first saw Newsies. So I saw Newsies in person, like strong female reporter lead. Love to see it. So good. Yeah. And then, I've watched that filmed version so many times.
I didn't know what Newsies was until I watched Smash and fell in love with Jeremy Jordan. I was like, okay,
stop.
Like, I need to know who Jeremy Jordan is. So I went on. I'm still on the Jeremy Jordan hype train. But I went on this like binge and like watching old interviews and stuff of his. And then I found that he was in Newsies. So of course I like watched Newsies on Disney Plus. I was like, now's the time to seize the day. Like, just bop into it like 24/7. Yeah. So I feel you. It's
such a bop. I'm obsessed with Newsies. It's a top 5 favorite of mine for sure. Like, so many good songs. King of New York, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
I mean, how many musical theater shows do we have songs about Santa Fe? So many.
Two that I know of. Rent.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Jeremy Jordan. And if you didn't know, Jeremy Jordan is also on Supergirl.
Yes, absolutely.
It is funny to like see him in a non-musical theater role, and then they have like a few musical type of episodes, and you're like, yes, thank you.
He's like, no. I get you can act, but sing, please. Like that's all. Just
right,
sing.
like we know you can. Same with Jordan Fisher.
Just sing.
Just sing. Like, please, come on. Just like we want it. We know you want to do it. We know the director has been itching for it. Just like give the people what they want.
Like we're right here. We can understand each other. Just sing.
Yes, indeed. So Hamilton, I feel like I could talk nonstop. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm curious. Bear with me.
Are you aware of the history? Yes.
It's so good. I'm gonna try. Hold on. Let's see what we think here.
Okay.
I think I like this more. What do you think? I'm changing the lighting.
Okay.
Is this good?
Yeah.
I like some real time talk with B-Way Show. Just I got this ring light and I've been experimenting.
A desk light, natural light, and then like the light. I don't have a ring. I should have asked my roomie actually has one. I should have asked them to borrow. But
just like not bring in the ring light. Yeah. It's so funny too because outside the window is this beautiful like landscape of Washington State. It's so stunning, and I wish I could show you.
Yeah.
Like just turn it, but then it's overexposed, and then if I just do it outside, then it is way too loud.
Yeah.
You get it.
I started to set up outside, but I was like, no. We're gonna sit under a fan with some nice light and just do that.
Gotta do it. That's why we have these nice little decorations for your enjoyment.
Exactly.
I hope it brings you joy. Even if it's not to Nia level, which I'm telling you, every time I see you in that FLS rap recess, I'm like, I need to do that.
One of my favorite things about rap recess is that when I come in, I let people, like, I have color changing lights in my room. And, like, I let people pick what color. That's, like, one of my favorite, like, I've never had color changing lights, and it's so much fun. It's so cool.
So much fun. I love it. So this is a good transition into FLS and the Academy.
Absolutely.
So before we talk about the documentary that we all just enjoyed, tell me how you got involved with taking the Academy.
Okay. So I attribute my FLS-dom to, that's the word that I just invented right now because I'm awkward. I attribute my FLS-dom to Ian Weinberger and Shock. For a Broadway flea last year, it was my first flea. I had been in the city for about a month, maybe a little bit more, and I wanted to go to fleas. I had never been to one. I had never been into the city.
So good.
So of course I stopped by the Hamilton table, and I had seen Ian around before, and I had said hi to him, but he didn't remember me, which is like it was like a long time ago. And he was like, and I purchased something. And I was like, hey, what's that? And it was a sign that said FLS Rush, $40. And he was like, oh, that's for FLS. It's the show right there. And he started explaining to me what it's about. He was like, you should go get a ticket. Like, they're open. And I said, okay, I'll check it out. What the heck? What's it? So I go and I buy the ticket. I stay literally in the city from like 9 a.m. to after the show. It was the longest day of my life. But fast forward to the show, and I get in. I had ended up buying a I don't believe in God, but I believe in Chris Jackson hat. That's very important to the story. I'm going to try to keep it short. But
it's a good hat.
I don't believe in God, but I believe in Chris Jackson hat. And I had been going back and forth about it all day because it was expensive. But I was like, you know what? Treat yourself. I go into the show.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. I go into the show, and I actually sit in front of Danny and Ellie, or I sit behind them. And you go when you go to a show and you're just like talking to people. You're just like, oh, hey, like, where are you from? Have you seen the show before? So we were just having that type of conversation, and I told them jokingly, I said, you know what, guys? Me getting this hat, like after going back and forth about it all day, is a sign that Chris Jackson is going to do the show. As soon as the lights went down, freaking Chris Jackson pops out on stage, and I lose my mind.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm sorry, I talk a lot, but
Please, this is an interview. Talk as much as you want, my friend.
So after seeing Chris Jackson, I was like super hyped. Like it's a fun show either way, whether Chris Jackson is there or not. So I'm like yelling out words. I'm doing the most being extra. And one of the words I yelled out was sleeping. And so for the entire night, without knowing my name, Anthony just referred to me as sleeping anytime he would hear my voice. So fast forward to the end of the show. It's time for
fast forward.
Fast, you know. So flash forward to the end of the show. They go in for day in the life, and I'm like not thinking that they're going to pick me, but I like raised my hand. I was like ooh, and he was like, he looked around. I feel like he was looking for my hand, like low key. So he was like, sleeping. You've got a lot of play today. You sure you had a good day? And I was like, yeah. He was like, are you positive? I was like, of course. He was like, you have on a Chris Jackson hat. I said, I do. And lo and behold, my very first FLS show, I got to be a part of it. And Chris Jackson, Jason Roy Eichelhart, Kayla, Shock, and you know, all the people, and they made like a skit about my life. So after that, amazing. It was over for me. And then maybe show 2 or 3, Shock started recognizing my face, like, because I go to the stage door to say hi. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so amazing. It's so good to see you again. He was like, have you thought about the Academy? I was like, what's the Academy? Tell me more. And he was like, and he explained it to me. He was like, you should apply. And I was like, should I? He was like, you should absolutely apply. And I did.
Wow.
And it is what it is now. I'm like, I'm here.
Yes. I love that story. Every time you tell me about how you went up that day, it was so meant to be.
You went up the later show, right?
I did.
I remember that because the first time we met, we talked about that when we were at Schmackery's. I remember. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it was so funny because it was like, wait, you went up the day of flea market? I also went Broadway flea market. Yeah. That was so good. Yeah, it was so cool when Anthony, like, I raised my hand and Anthony picked me and I went up on that stage and, you know, we got to the Broadway flea part of my day and he's like, 2 in a row.
Well, I mean, it was the day of Broadway flea. What was I supposed to do? Not go to the Broadway flea market?
Like, come on. I love Broadway flea. My friend Jackie and I went to Broadway flea for the first time okay, wait, this is so funny. I just thought of this in the moment. It is so crazy how it always goes back to Chris Jackson.
Oh my gosh.
The first time I went to Broadway flea, I guess was 2015 or 16.
Okay.
He was still, so I guess 2015, because he was still in Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen hadn't opened yet on Broadway.
Definitely 2015, 2016.
Right? So so I'm going to start with the latter, with the Dear Evan Hansen part, because she was like my Broadway rock growing up. Like, we would go to theater all the time together. Like, we saw Spring Awakening and Once on This Island and 13. Oh, yo, so good. And we went to FLS together, which was really fun. And Jagged Little Pill. I'm just going to list all the shows I've seen with Jackie Vingan. So this was before I knew what Dear Evan Hansen was, but she had like heard a little bit about it. And I remember they had this like tiny little setup, because it's funny when there's a show that's like, you know, not a lot of people know about it, but it has some buzz. So they have like a few things. Like, I think they had like an apple, like a notebook and a cast of whatnot. And she got like an apple and I was like, oh, like, I don't really have a lot of money. I don't know this show. Like, you do that. I'm gonna hold on. And I was like, cool. Lol. So funny. So then we go to the Hamilton table, and like all the actual, like the big, you know, stuff that's like unique to Flea was very much sold out or very expensive. Cool. And they had the cast album, and I'm like, you know what? Even though I've bought it like online, it's always fun to have the actual physical cast album, right? Yeah. And you can like flip through it. So I got that, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun to like walk over like a block or two and take a picture with the Richard Rodgers? Because I hadn't seen the musical at that point, of course, because tickets were like crazy expensive. So I walk over with, and I remember my hair was like short, and it was so hot, so it was like frizzed out. It was like,
I know
one of those days you don't expect to see anyone, let alone be taking a picture with, and Chris Jackson walks out. And it was like one of those, like, you look at him and you look at the cast album and you're like, can you sign this for me, please? Like, because like you're just so unexpected. He's like, of course, and he goes and signs it.
Most exact, like walking around Times Square, like close to showtime, is literally so anxiety inducing. Like I'm just like, I know I'm not like looking for people, but if I see people, like it's especially at Flea. Like I was just like I was stood behind Derek Klena and Antonio Cipriano, like in line at the Starbucks at the Marriott, and I said, well, I'll be. You gotta be cool. Now this was a few years ago, so it was pre me being so chill as you know I am today. Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I've been blessed enough to meet some of like my Broadway heroes, especially within the past year. So I was with my friend Madison at the DEH stage door for Jordan, and I told her, I was like, listen, I'm gonna talk all the crap right now. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna like, you know, get it all out. But when he gets in front of me, I'm gonna be so chill. It's fine.
So chill.
We're fine. She was like, no, you're not. You're gonna freak out. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Sure enough, he came out that night. I was like, boy, we're gonna meet him. Hi, how are you? And then after he left, she was like, after he left, she was like, you literally were so. I said, didn't I just tell you? But yeah,
I know. I love it.
It's
so it's so much fun to look back at those moments. Like I ended up getting a picture with C Jack, which was pretty cool. And like you know, like if I saw someone just walking on the street, I wouldn't like stop them for a picture. But there was something about the kismet-ness of it. Is that a word?
The stars literally aligned, like for you to
so crazy. And where he walked out, like his image on the Richard Rodgers was right there. That's you. So anyway, it's so good. I love that picture. And I was going back through some like older pictures because of like Hamilton and FLS coming out, and it's so fun to like look back at those moments that like really like either started like pre-fandom or like medium, where you were like, oh yeah, like I kind of like this thing, and then it like turns into like, no, I'm obsessed with this thing. I can't help myself from mentioning absolutely everything. And wasn't it so cool in like the FLS docs seeing the "We Are Free Sad Love Supreme"?
Yes,
they're like, babies.
They're like Baby Shock blew my mind. I said
Baby Shock. Baby Shock.
Oh my god. Yeah, I watching their growth was absolutely incredible to me. I loved it. Like it just like their honesty and their vulnerability. Like they weren't afraid to be like in a lot of documentaries, and this is a part of why they inspire me so much. In a lot of documentaries, they'll be like, "Oh, we started here, and everything was great, nothing was wrong." They were like, "No, like we went through some stuff," and they weren't afraid to talk about it, which was really inspiring because you don't see that a lot these days.
100%. I agree. They, you know, the two big moments I would say are, you know, the UTK being very open and honest about his struggle.
It's so brave of him. Like I was like,
it's stunning. And then, you know, the Anthony and Tommy thing, you know, like I knew about UTK because I've heard him in other interviews talk about it and like on stage, but I didn't know that about Tommy and Anthony. And you know, we won't like get into anything else because if you don't know, now you know to, you know, watch it.
To go watch
to make it
figure it out for yourself.
But it is important, like you're saying, to not shy away from like the life of it, the humanity of it. Like that's what makes FLS so great, is that they're so open and honest, and that they're built out of this foundation of love and trust, and to also extend that to the fans and the viewers, I thought was a really cool aspect.
And not only that, but they extended like literally the moment I walked into my first academy class, like I was like shaking, but like after I was like, wait, when can I do this again? Like I know I'm not that good right now, but when can I do this again? Like those humans are so full of love and compassion, and like it's just awe-inspiring to me. Like, you know, like I'm so lucky to call them like pals and everything. Like the trajectory. Listen, I'm just so grateful for them.
100%. And like, let's just do a full-on plug for FLS Academy. Like, if you've ever thought about
Academy, FLS Academy.
Sometimes you just gotta freestyle, yo. I don't know if you want to take it over, yo. Nia, it's so fun to meet you. And sometimes you just gotta spit the twos.
Spitting the twos on the live stream, yeah. You know what? You're never gonna go off left. You should apply to the academy because it would be a lot of fun for you and me. So maybe you and me can just go and see FLS Academy.
Yes, I love it. See, that's like the joy of it, is that you don't need like a perfect rhyme. You don't need a perfect freestyle.
Literally
it's just
half of the words that I just rhymed with were the same word, and it's
fine.
I'll watch.
It's fun. And like seeing your, you know, graduation was so much fun, and it's
thank you, yo. And see, that's another reason I'm so grateful for FLS, because moving here, I had my grandma and my uncle, which I'm very, 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 very grateful for. But I had no one like my age, you know, to hang out with.
Yeah.
So for like the academy to like embrace me and all of my anxiety and weirdness and my ups and downs, and this shit, like after a month of knowing me, he's like, you know what, you don't have anybody to come to your show, I'll come to your, like, it's literally like the biggest family, and it meant so, so, so much to me.
Oh, it was all my joy to go. It was so fun to like, you know, experience my own graduation a few days before, like a week before, and then say, okay, now that my stress and anxiety is over, because, you know, and like,
it was stressful, yeah.
Yo, Anthony, Shock, and Jelly were all in the room where it happens, and it was, and it was such a different vibe. I don't know about for you because you did it at Ars Nova, but we had so many people that they like, we had to do ours at the gym rather than at Ars Nova. So in one aspect, like, you know, we got that same energy that we had the entire I don't know why my throat is closing though. I'm gonna take a sip of water.
I'm gonna take this interlude to do the same.
Yes, stay hydrated, y'all. So, you know, in one aspect, it was cool because that same energy of like, you know, this like gym auditorium, it made it less like less formal, which I think was great for our energy. But also there was like a part of me that was a little jealous when I saw yours, because it was so cool, like performing in that like nice space.
Yeah, I mean, we got to act. That's where we actually took class, like in that very same room. That's where we all took class. So for us to go there, it wasn't anything like weird, but when we walked in and saw the chairs, and we're like, oh, okay, this is happening. Awesome.
Yeah.
And, like, while we were waiting for everybody to like sign in, we were all like warming up and like shaking. But you know, I think we all had a good time.
Yeah, and you were so strong. Like everyone, there's something special about the academy and graduation that, like, you know, it's all improv. Like you've got your base, you've got your training, and it's based off of whatever suggestions you get and whatnot. But there's something so special in that moment where everyone is there to support you. Like it's it's a graduation show, but it's not like a competition. You're not being graded, like, and you could tell that everyone was like cheering one another up and like hyping each other. It was so cool.
Like I think I got super lucky with my class because even though there were some people like Zach and Chris who had been in the academy before, they were like, no, like, what do you need help with? Like, do you want to practice after class? Do you want to practice before class? Like, so I honestly, like, looking back on it, like, the way, like, not to self-plug myself, and not that I'm the most, you know, awesome rapper out of everybody in the academy, but, like, watching myself and other people improve from week 1 to week 8, like, week 1, that little freestyle we just did, I wouldn't have been able to do that, you know?
Right.
And that's just because, like you said before, it's just nothing but love and positivity and picking each other up, which is awesome.
Yeah. Right. And there is that improvement that, like, you don't necessarily know or expect in the moment until you see it with a friend. And then you're like, oh, I just saw you improve. I guess I did too. Oh, that's cool. We're improving at the same time. And now we're going to rhyme. It's just like a dime. It's just going all the flying. What do you see sometimes when you're with the academy? You just like to talk and rhyme. You like to let it flow, because that's what we do here on B-Way Show.
Yeah. Snaps. Yeah. And, you know, and I don't know. I'm just very, very lucky. Like, I feel like God has this crazy timeline for your life, and you think you're going to start off like one way.
Yeah.
Way. I know that's definitely what happened with me in my life, but I'm so grateful that everything happened when and how it did.
Yeah.
Because I definitely wouldn't have, my experience in the city so far definitely wouldn't have been the same without Hamilton, FLS, everything. Like, it's very, very lucky.
I feel the exact same way. It's everything happens for a reason. I do believe it. Sometimes there are bad things that happen. Like absolutely. A lot of what's going on now. But you just have to hope that it's, you know, that it's opening up so many people's eyes to the importance of the arts, the importance of Black Lives Matter. Hello, people. It's not a political statement. Black Lives Matter.
Okay, can we talk about that for a fraction of a second?
We can talk about it for as long as you'd like.
So what you're saying, it's opening so many people's eyes. I definitely agree, but there are also, one of my pet peeves about this whole thing, and about the Black Lives Matter movement, seeing so many people jump on board, is that so many people are doing it performatively. Like, they're doing it because it's cool. They're doing it because they don't want to get canceled. And I'm just like, and somebody came to me and they were like, well, would you rather them say nothing that's performative, say nothing, or say something that's performative? And I'm like, if you're going to say something, make sure it comes from your heart. Make sure you mean it, because my people are getting killed day in and day out. Like, it's been 100 and something days since Breonna Taylor was murdered in her own home. What do Black people have to do to not get murdered? That's what I would like to know. And it's so, but on the flip side, because I always like to see a bright side and everything, there are so many cool people, so many you know, and people that we follow on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, every day, genuinely using their platforms to raise awareness, to make people, and the conversations that are going around, specifically since we're talking Broadway, specifically in the Broadway community about representation and everything like that. I think that those are conversations that should have been happening. Yeah. They're happening now, yes, but will we see actual change? We'll see when the apocalypse is over.
Yeah, Nia. Thank you. Thank you for saying that and opening up. It is absurd how long it's taken. It is absurd how some people have responded, and not saying that I had a great response or that, but I'm open to learning and to hearing and
see, there's a difference. I've had some friends come to me and say, I've had some friends come to me who aren't active on social media. They're never active on social media, but they have the platform so they can keep up. And I had a conversation with my friend Alex, and she said, I feel like it would have been performative to speak out because I'm just not regularly on social media. And I said, that's something different than being active on social media, seeing what's going on around you, and choosing actively not to speak out and speak out against the systemic racism, colorism, and all the other crappy things going on. Right. There's a complete difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to add to that, because apparently it needs to be said, Black trans lives matter.
Black trans lives freaking matter, people.
Come on, y'all.
Like,
come on.
It's definitely been an eye-opening past couple of months, just seeing how people are handling not only Black Lives Matter, but quarantine, how people are reacting to, you know, the conversations that are being had within the theater. It's insane. And there are some people who I've been following for years who haven't spoken out, or only spoke out because they were being canceled because they weren't speaking out. And like I said before, that's performative. It shouldn't take you being canceled on Twitter for you to speak out about a community that you're a part of.
Imagine.
Like,
it's so disappointing. Like, I feel like you can tell, not necessarily everyone, but you can tell with a lot of friends or celebrities, or like, you know, like, did you just post the black square and then you didn't say anything after?
And then you continue posting your avocado toast.
Like, Black lives still matter.
Yeah. Like,
they always matter.
What was it? Black lives matter past June 2nd, which was the day that everybody started posting that black square. Like, they, you know, it's just a time that we're living in, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And we can only hope that, you know, as it goes to Broadway and acting and in that entertainment industry, that we will not only see more Black and brown humans on stage, off stage, writers, directors, stage hands.
That's another thing too. I don't want to be a diversity, like, if I'm blessed enough, like, to work on Broadway in some capacity, which I hope to one day, don't hire me just because I'm Black and a woman. Don't let me be that diversity hire because you feel the pressure to hire a diverse group of people. Hire me because you saw my resume, you met me, and compared to other people, I'm the best fit for the job. I think that's the point a lot of people are making. A lot of companies and a lot of shows are casting people, hiring people specifically. Oh, we have to have a Black person, guys. Guys, can we find a Black? Like, no, that's
no.
You know,
performative.
Exactly. That's our word for this interview. Performative.
The word for today is performative. Yes, it's so crazy to think in 2020.
Freaking 20.
Like, I don't know if you watch, I am like a huge comic book superhero nerd, and I've been catching up on like the Arrowverse, which, like, I also kind of have. I don't know, this is a different conversation, but like, why is it the Arrowverse? Why is it the Supergirl verse? Like, whatever. Right. That's a different conversation.
It is not even about diversifying based on your skin color. It's also diversifying your gender and what you identify as. It doesn't matter if you're female, non-binary, trans, man, whatever you identify as. That shouldn't be a diversity hire either. You should feel accepted and loved based on what you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank.
What a concept! Bring the best people in who fit the roles. Expand what it means to fit the role. Expand your mindset of who could be, should be, would be playing this role, and how having a more diverse in all aspects cast adds to it and brings new energy to it, because now you've got young kids, teenagers, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 90s seeing themselves on stage or on screen for the first time.
Representation is literally everything. So important. And even though I'm going to say something controversial, I don't think it's controversial, but just like we were talking about how much we love Hamilton, I love that musical. It brought me, you know, back to life, so to speak, because I was going through some stuff when I found it.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't shy away from the conversation about the fact that Hamilton, no doubt, has got so many artists of color, Black artists, blown them up. Representation, like Hamilton set the tone for what representation means on stage, but we can't ignore the fact that their producing team, their production team, their design team is 90% cisgender, heterosexual white men. Yeah. And not a lot of people know that, and that needs to be a part of the conversation and why people are being so loud about representation now. It should be.
Right. And I think another conversation with that is that you can both love something. You can love Hamilton. You can listen to it. You can watch it as many times as you want and still call out when it's problematic.
Big freaking. If I could retweet that, I'm having this conversation a lot lately. I've been having a conversation about not just Hamilton, but about a lot of people that I'm a fan of. And I'm like, okay, there's a line, right?
Yeah.
If you make a mistake and you apologize for it, you're canceled, but you over the time you show that you've learned your lesson and you're doing what you can to make up for whatever you may have done. That's okay. But what's not okay is making a mistake, getting canceled, I'm so sorry, and then doing the same thing over and over again.
No.
That's when you should be canceled. People can be allowed, companies can be allowed to make a mistake, but actions speak louder than words. So to your point, which I wholeheartedly agree with, you can like something, someone, but still be aware of the controversy or whatnot that they might have caused. As long as this does not fall under the umbrella of sexual assault or bigotry. That's an automatic cancel. Believe survivors, and we don't stand bigotry in this day and age in any.
Yeah. Right. There's yes. There are so many aspects to society and theater and so many like check marks that have yet to be checked, and there are so many things that need to be improved, and you can start here, you can start there, but we need to at some point get to all of that. We need to get a lot of the people who have been accused of sexual assault by multiple humans. Why are they still on stage and screen? Why are they still directing? Why are they still doing XXX? Because there are so many people.
But the flip side point of that is that unfortunately there have been people who accuse celebrities of certain things only to figure out later that it's not true. And that's why people have such a hard time believing the survivor. I choose to always believe the survivors because of the things that I
believe survivors
in my life. But on the same day that it got out that Cole Sprouse sexually assaulted someone, 2 hours later, she said, yeah, I just made it up because I wanted to see if people were going to believe it. Now
that's awful.
Yeah, that's awful. That's the kind of stuff that makes people be like, well, do you have proof? Do you have blah, 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 blah? You know? So it's a double-edged sword. It really it shouldn't be. But it is what it is, unfortunately.
I didn't know about that. I'm not up to date on my my Cole Sprouse from Sweet Life and Zach and Cody, and he's on Riverdale, right?
Yeah, he's on. The only reason I know was because it was trending for a while, and my friend Lauren loves Riverdale, and she was like, "Did you see this?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
It's so sad that people do that. I'm trying to find the right words, and sometimes the right words aren't always there, but at the end of the day, believe survivors, because if there are people who are doing that, like you said about like, oh, I just wanted to see, they should not be doing that. And there are so many people, men, women, non-binary, people who identify outside of the gender system, which the gender system we should just abolish.
Is a construct just like time.
So everything's a construct. It's believe survivors.
Yeah.
Period. That simple. Black Lives Matter. believe survivors.
Point blank.
Point
Period.
blank. Whew. Nia, you got me heated here. I appreciate you taking this interview to this high level. I appreciate it very much.
Anytime. We can
So,
go back to Broadway if you want.
yeah, but let's take a moment here. I mentioned, I think too, that I always like to ask if there are any nonprofits or charities that you'd like to shout out, and this feels like a good time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you guys follow Sean Zuni, but they are currently they're a member of the Hamilton cast, multiple companies, and they're trying to put together money to fundraise for Hollywood's first Black-owned coffee business. So look up Sean Zuni. They think your thoughts, and donate to that if you can. And then also the Equal Justice Initiative. That's so important, especially with all the people getting arrested at these protests, at these peaceful protests, at the, with everything going on, they need money as well.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. Yes. Sean Zuni, such a big fan of them. I actually had Sean on the series.
I know.
Which was so amazing. And we spoke all about a lot of what we were talking about during this conversation and Zuni's Cafe. So yes, please do go look into that. I also like to bring up the Okra Project, doing some great work. And there's, oh goodness. I know Ezra Minas, who's currently in Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah.
They are currently doing a fundraiser. Today's Ezra's birthday for Black and I'm trying to think exactly how they phrase it. Black and brown, people of color, non-binary and trans support. So please go over, support. If you need any more information, you can always contact me at BWay Show, and I will help direct you in the right place for any sort of donations and support, because that's what we should be doing right now.
Point blank.
Point blank. So let's get back to politics, please.
One of the most underrated songs in that musical. Anyway, go ahead, continue.
So good. So let's talk a little bit more about, I don't think we've touched really upon going to Ain't Too Proud together, and that was so much fun.
Nick frickin' Walker. My pal, my buddy. Let's talk about Nick Walker. I'm always down to talk about Nick Walker.
What was it like for you to see, and we'll kind of continue, yes, Lauren saying, yes, the Okra Project is amazing. Snaps, so many snaps. Seeing a mostly Black cast telling their own story, being in this audience, like what were all of your feelings?
So the first time I saw Ain't Too Proud was with the original cast when the love of my life, Jeremy Pope, was still, and Ephraim and everybody.
Amazing.
Jeremy Pope, we could talk about him all day. Anyway, I got to see it with the original cast, and the first time walking to that theater, I was just like taken aback. Like I think I tweeted this after. I was like, it's something about being Black, going to see a show by Black people and for Black people in an audience full of Black people that just hits different. Like there was nobody giving me dirty looks because I was excited, or there was nobody, and seeing that type of representation, we don't get that often. There have been maybe 3 fully Black 99.9% shows: The Wiz, ATP, and The Lion King. And even The Lion King is like is not as Black as I thought it was. There was that graphic that the ensembles put out with all of the percentages, and The Lion King, I was really, really surprised to see. But back to Ain't Too Proud, it was just like seeing that representation was like a feeling that I had never felt before, because I'm so used to seeing like a mostly Caucasian cast, or like a Caucasian cast with a few Black people, but like no, there was literally one Black person in this or one white person in this cast. Not to slight from that person's performance. I can't remember his name right now, but like you said, it's a story about Black people told by Black people from what I could tell, a mostly Black audience, and it just hit different. It was so inspiring to me.
It was really cool to sit next to you during it and just see how proud you were and how excited, because it's amazing to see that type of performance, which is just amazing to begin with, right? And for me to sit there knowing like this show wasn't meant for me, and that's amazing. Like I am a guest here. I am enjoying it. I am happy that you are loving it so much. And I think we need more shows like that where people get to see themselves fully on stage and feel like they were the target audience.
Yeah, and that's something that can be said about that, and the fact that, you know, they're being Black shouldn't always be the major point in a Black person's story or like a Black story. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, to me, yes, ATP was about them, the color of their skin, but it wasn't that I'm Black and this is what happens when you're Black and I'm Black. Like, no, it was the story of patients who happen to be Black going through their lives and their ups and downs and telling that story. So I there was something beautiful about that too, because when Black people get casted, it's mostly as the best friend or as the sassy maid or as the as the ghetto blah 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 blah.
Right.
So it was so interesting to see how, you know, they used it just to tell a story. It wasn't necessarily a Black story. It was just a story of a group of humans coming together and making music, which was amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, it's such a good show. So lovely to see Nick and Matt's first performance there.
That was so special. Matt was so sweet. He was just like, I was like, how was your Broadway debut? He was like, like, he showed me his hand. He was like, still shaking.
I remember.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, and to be there with Gigi as well, that was special.
Yeah.
Also an FLS alum. I love all of this and all those performers and you know, Remy, Jelani Remy, who I've also had on this series and just like is such a sweetheart. Like there are just so many nice and good people in that cast, and there's a lot of I miss Broadway, and I can't wait to see them again.
I was talking to a friend the other day. I was like, I was talking to my roommate the other day, who's also my friend, same difference. I was like, I don't know if I want to go see something new when Broadway opens back up, or do I want to see a show where I know, like, one of my comfort shows that I just love to go see. And they were like, I think I'm going to go see a comfort show. And I was like, you know what? You're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had that conversation with a lot of people, right? Like you see something like Hamilton that you've seen a lot, but you love it, and it would like the energy is going to be there. Do you see a show like Hadestown, which like has so many significant moments of the pandemic in different words and seeing how the world could be? Do you see a show like Company that has like all this big hype and is like a revival with some big names? Do you see Ain't Too Proud, Dear Evan Hansen, Come From Away? Like there's so many options. And I think I've decided, if I'm like lucky enough to get a ticket, I want to see Hadestown. Like that to me feels like that it encompasses everything of like, I mean, can you imagine seeing Andre DeShields as like the first face you like see introduce a show back to Broadway? Come on.
I think for me, if he goes back to the role, we genuinely don't know if he is. But if Jordan goes back to Evan Hansen, it'll probably be DEH or it'll be Ain't Too Proud for me. And Hamilton's like right there, so I can just be like,
yo, that stage door. And also, like, what's stage door gonna be like? Are they gonna open the show before they bring back stage door? Like, that would also make sense. There's just so much we don't know about. And with a few of the minutes left, I want to also talk about, like, it's really cool, like we're saying, how theater makes, brings friends, and like you go to support actors in other things, like, being lucky enough to have seen Leslie Odom Jr. and Anthony Ramos, like that's so cool. Yeah. And of course you're talking about Jordan Fisher. Like, what's it been like as a fan to see actors in more roles than maybe you became a fan of them and then you saw them either in concert or on TV, and just how like becoming a fan of someone means also supporting them in other roles than what they're best known for?
So, I'm going to talk specifically about Jordan because Jordan is one of the people that I've been following for a while. When I found Jordan, I was at a really dark point in my life. It was 2016, and the first thing I saw him in was Grease Live. After that, as they say, it was over. But it's definitely been interesting to watch his trajectory over the past couple of years. Just watching him grow and his fan base grow and people figuring out, like him kind of becoming a household name per se and making a name for himself. And then he has his Twitch channel, so that's a whole nother audience. It's been, I guess interesting is the best word that I can use for it, because it's been, I'm torn between like do other things and also like the fandom joke is, aren't you the guy from Liv and Maddie? You know, so I still see him as that little baby face 2016, fresh out of like whatever he was doing in Liv and Maddie, but also like, you know, he's grown as an artist, as a human, as a person. So it's been inspiring as well to see him still be the humble person that he is. And I think that's a huge thing about following someone for a long time as well. You don't want to see them like, if you find them where they're like on their way, you don't want to see them like get a big head or anything. And in my opinion, he hasn't done that. So it's been really, really cool to see. And if you support someone in something, you should support them in everything. Like if you call yourself a fan of them, you know?
Right. And it's so fun to see someone grow. Like, you know, Anthony Ramos, who I brought up before, like if you saw Anthony in, you know, either in the Heights when it was in DC, upcoming in the Heights, like to see that specific trajectory, and of course Hamilton,
all the way off, man.
For real though.
Imagine how it feels going real slow.
Yeah, sing it. And then to see Anthony like perform, and also like if you've seen 21 Jump Street, and then She's Gotta Have It, and the one with Lady Gaga,
A Star Is Born.
A Star Is Born. Thank you so much. Like it's so fun to see. Like I just love to see theater people thrive. That's that's what it comes to.
Like watching people make their way from like the stage, or like not everybody knows about Broadway, but if somebody's like in a whole movie or a whole TV show, there's like, oh wait, that person on Broadway is on Broadway as well, and that brings more people because they're a fan of the specific person that they saw in this TV show or movie, and then they, you know, more Broadway people.
Love to see it. And then when they come back to Broadway and you get to, I love a stage door. You know, I think like Alex Brightman says it so well that he remembers what it was like to be a fan on the other side.
Yeah.
On the other side. I love Alex Brightman and Beetlejuice, which, you know what, we can also say, like, I love seeing it. And I listened to, hi, Slim. Hi, bud. And also, like, I wish that they had more people of color in principal roles / like really anyone. Like those two things can live at the same time. It's like I think
isn't linear. Like you don't have to specifically love something. You don't have to specifically hate something. Those can coexist. And there's something that's kind of dangerous about blindly loving someone.
That's what it is.
Without, you know, without when something comes up or when something is said, without doing your own research and like, no, they didn't do it. That's not true. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like you have to be cognizant of any and everything, especially these days.
Exactly. Right. You should be able to be slightly objectively critical of something you love, so that if that does get fixed or addressed, you can love it more, because it's like, it shouldn't just be like a veil or something like, everything is awesome. Like sometimes a lot of things are awesome and certain things are problematic and they need to change.
Yeah. I mean, when that whole, since we're talking about it not being linear, and a couple of months ago when that whole thing went down with Jordan about not speaking out against Black Lives Matter, and that whole when on Twitter, I'm not going to get into depth of it because I don't want to bring up drama, but people were coming to me, aren't you his fan? Like, why are you begging him to speak? This is why people don't speak out, because of people like you. Like, I'm just like, I shouldn't have to beg I didn't beg him to do anything. First of all,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and beg here to sit here and beg you to speak out for a community that you're quick to say you're a part of, right? And it shouldn't. And as a person of color, he should have been one of the first people to say something. But I digress, And so, in that moment taught me that it's okay to be critical of the things, the people that you love, and still love them. Like, that's right. To me, that's true love. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, I agree with him not speaking out, because I don't. That would be me being a fake fan, not calling him out on his stuff. Would be like, people are like, you're such a fake fan for calling him out. Nah.
No.
But
I 100% agree with it. And, I see we're going a little over the time, and I hope you're okay just chatting a few minutes more. Thank you. I think this is really important to have, especially as two people who are passionate fans and like in this industry and wanting to see the best and understanding that things might not always be as they seem, and some people have their own journeys, and as long as they're not like actively bad, you can help.
Yeah. You can allow people to grow and change and prove themselves worthy of your love. And that's not even with people that you're a fan of. That's people in your life, That's a life thing as well.
Right. Yeah, sometimes you just need to see where your journey goes, and if those people are still with you, if they believe the best in you, for the right intentions, I think there's a lot in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Retweet.
Excellent. So was there anything you came into today wanting to make sure to get out there?
I mean, honestly, we talked about a lot. This was great. I didn't have anything specific. I was just kind of like wondering what you were going to ask and like what you were going to want to talk about. But honestly, I love this. This was so much fun.
Yay. Retweet that. And where can everyone find you on social media? And is there anything like people should keep an eye out for?
So my Instagram is Nia_Blizzard1, and my Twitter is Nia from Topgolf. There's a story behind that, but that's another thing. To keep an eye out for, I'm starting a blog. I want to start writing a blog. I was trying to decide whether I want to do a vlog or a blog, but I'm awkward on camera and I don't have a lot of like video footage of things. So next month I want to try to release like my first year in NYC blog. So that should be fun. I'm really excited.
That's so exciting. Yay. I don't think you're awkward. I also think I'm awkward. So like that's also a conversation for another day. Except people being awkward on camera.
Can we normalize that, please?
Normalize it. Because normalize people finding themselves awkward who other people don't find awkward. True life. True. Yes, indeed. And y'all can find me at B-Way Show, as you see here across the banner. That's BWAYSHO. You can head over to bwayshow.com to see the full lineup of guests, past, present, future, and everything there. I've had a lot of Hamilton and Freestyle Love Supreme cast members, and in between, and anyone, if there's someone that you'd specifically like to see on, please let me know. That would be fun. And we also have a Patreon. They're called the Showtreons. They're awesome. I see a couple of Showtreons here in the comments. We have monthly video chats and trivia nights, and you get exclusive behind the scenes footage and comments, and it's so much fun. So if that's something that you are interested and able to do, you can head over to patreon.com/bwayshow. Join us. It's so fun. Appreciate all of you. And a fun, easy way you can support is when you see this and you're like, whoa, I love this video, you can like and subscribe. What? So easy.
Supporting
so helpful.
People online is free? What?
Bonkers. Yes. sometimes we totally understand that money is a burden and you don't have it. But there are also so many ways you can support your friends by subscribing and telling your friends. That has been your BYU Show PSA. Support your friends. Sometimes it's free.
Right.
Always. There should be a better PSA. Let me think of it. Like,
okay.
Always support your friends.
Even when
Period.
Period. Point blank.
Brought to you by BYU Show.
Show.
Well, this has been so much fun, so important, just so many great gems and Easter eggs that I really enjoyed, and I'm so glad we did this. So thank you for your time, and thank you for everyone who's watching.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.